it's a completely different vibe for everyone that goes around there, and then you immediately drop back into the snow of like, oh yeah, people are jerks here.
Oh yeah, winter. That's a thing now.
Yeah, it was very surreal. Yes, for the listeners out there, I was out. I missed last week because I was at a music convention called NAM, the
Hmm.
National American Music Merchants. It's pretty much a guitar center the size of Fenway Park, that you just have all the people that would debut new products out there for all instruments, like any kind, classical, rock, metal, Latin, everything you possibly imagine is right there, and all the people that you ever want to meet that play all those stuff are right there.
Yeah.
It's an onslaught, and I'm just happy. I had my phone. I could look at my pictures. I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah, I did share a hot tub with Dillinger Escape Plan.
All right.
That made no sense. All right, I have big stories. I'll go with that, but that's gonna be
Yes.
for the end of the show.
Exactly. For now, folks, we are very excited because now we are bringing back our monthly installment with the emerging Boston area's singer-songwriters group. It's just this coalition of like 400 people, singer-songwriters from the Boston area. We are joined by the founder Haley McGee
Hey everybody.
and singer-songwriter Adam Sickler,
Hey guys.
and we're talking some music, talking some business, and a whole lot more. So just kind of sit tight here. And after that, we're talking to Krista Ganidek. She's got a brand new CD coming out pretty soon, Hard Summer. She's got a tour she's been putting together. It's going to be amazing. So just kind of kick back, relax, get yourself a beer, and go nowhere, because for the next 2 hours, you're right here on Citywide.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of business that's going to be going down here.
There's so much business.
For the listeners out there, I know a lot of you are instrumentalists or have your own different bands, and you know what? You need a little help sometimes. Like I've been booking shows since I was 17 years old. I'm 30 now, and I still need advice going on there. And everyone should be able to. I just try myself to give as much information as possible. That's why we bring people that are smarter than I am into the whole thing.
Exactly. Also, we would like to go one show without kind of like burning bridges or pissing off entire states.
Max, okay, first off, that had only to do with hockey, okay? That's when the show turns into sports talk, and I apologize for that sometimes. And you know what? Yes, I said some stuff about Buffalo's hockey team, and it started a Twitter war, and I apologize for that. Even though you guys are still not going to make the playoffs. Oh, I started it up again. Tweet at me, Dr. Matt Zappa.
All right.
It's Dr. Matt Zappa on Twitter and Instagram. Find out some more stuff. What's going on?
All right. Well, what's going on now is we're getting into the business of the night. So, one of the things that, of course, Matt and I deal with a lot, and I'm sure Haley you deal with as well, is the endless press releases we get from musicians wanting to get their voices heard, which we're always too happy to help. But sometimes it comes down to a question of format and structure. So what we're going to talk about is just how you guys can kind of like maneuver around that and put together the best kind of PR package that everyone is going to want to see. So I don't get things wrong. Actually, just talking, kind of like spotlighting Adam here, because he was talking earlier about how he's doing a physical release for some of his stuff for your new single, and talking about like actually like mailing out physical copies to different like radio stations and I'm sure like news outlets.
For listeners out there, physical media means vinyl, CDs, flash drives.
Yeah, you can't download it.
Yes, non-digital forms of music.
I know. I'm sure that's gonna actually comes as a shock to some of our like younger listeners.
I mean,
What's a CD? What does that mean?
I mean,
They're talking witchcraft, sorcery.
Black.
I'll save my CD tirade for later on.
Yeah.
But let's start, you guys. Would you like to start off with the CDs, or you want to go with the press releases? How we put them together?
Let's go actually press releases. So, Haley, why don't you get the ball rolling? What's been like your, I guess, experience?
The press release story.
Yeah, the first release story. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, since we actually have, EBASS has like 560 members right now. So
Oh,
it's grown
560,
since last
geez.
time. It's crazy. But that
You were
means-
on like a month and a half
I
ago.
know.
Yeah. Really?
Cool stuff is happening.
Good God.
But yeah, it just means that I get, just like you guys, just like tons of emails, right? I think for me, I have less to say about structure and format and more to say about content. I think I love when a songwriter or an artist sends me a press release or like any sort of release with a narrative. Like, tell me your story and tell me what's interesting about you. I don't want to hear, like, how long you've been at school, what you're studying. I don't want to hear, like, the number of places you've ever played at. want to hear the fun facts. And I think that too few artists submit stuff that like makes them seem like a character. You know, it's kind of like the same dry stuff.
Yeah,
That's interesting to be able to put it out there like that. Actually making, because I feel like one thing that's really good about this show. Well, I'm not tooting our own horn. I'm just talking about like when we have artists come on the show, they get a chance to be able to show exactly who they are, not just like, okay, I'm gonna be going on tour here, doing this music, like the cold hard facts. It's just like, all right, so how do you feel about this kind of politics? How do you feel about this kind of particular group? How do you feel about the music industry? You get to see the actual person that's behind the whole thing, and I find that kind of interesting that you put that in the press release because 99% of the times I've seen or try to put out myself, they want the cold hard facts.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with Haley because some like I want a press release that isn't just going to tell me about the artist, but is going to convince me that I want to hear them. The kind of thing that I'm going to read, it's actually going to get me excited. I'm like a singer-songwriter. I'm from Brighton. I went to Berkeley. Been playing since I was like 5 years old. And I'm thinking, okay, that's you and like literally everyone else. A lot of folks get started in music very young. A lot of folks live in the Boston area. A lot of folks went to Berkeley. So what about you is unique? You know, did you ever play with like Aerosmith? Did you ever get to like tour when you were like 10 years old? You know, tell me something that's gonna like kind of set you apart and it's gonna really intrigue me and say, well, I want to know more about that. If for no other reason than to find out a little more about this one little story, I'm gonna actually contact you.
Yeah, and if you're booking, I think it depends on the scene. Like if you're booking for a really high-profile venue or like a really big show, you just want the best names and the cold hard facts. I think EBASS is like a community where we're really seeking to put together unique individuals from all these different backgrounds, and so we really want to know like the character behind the music. And I understand the need for both, for sure.
Definitely. One thing that I deal with a lot is the general format of the releases, and I find that they kind of range. But the two things I dislike seeing the most, okay, is the ones that are like 2 sentences, and the ones that are no, seriously. I've gotten some emails that have been like, you know, we're a band, we play here, we play this style, and that's it.
That's not a press release. That's a tweet.
Exactly, and that's okay.
Under 140 characters.
Exactly, and I get that, you know, like brevity is like the name of the game these days. We're in the Twitter generation, a Facebook generation, but they're short doesn't always like equal sweet, guys. Take some time and think about what you want to say. On the other side of it, do not send me a 5-page announcement about you guys. I do not need your life story.
All right, and this is very interesting for the fact that we have Haley here to be able to talk about it, and then we also have Max, who's for years, for listeners that don't know, Max has been a journalist for many newspapers. So he
12 years now.
Yes, so he gets press releases from all different kinds of levels, be it music, be it small business openings, be it just like all kinds of like political affiliations going forward. So it's interesting you get to hear a lot of stuff like that. I'm curious, what's between both of you, what kind of press release, what's the most ridiculous thing you've heard in like certain press releases?
Man.
Where you're just like, no, that's not going to work.
Oh.
Why did you put that in there?
I got one. Okay, I won't name names here because, you know, I don't want to actually.
Because that's what I do.
But I do recall. This wasn't one that I received. It's actually one I saw while I was on the website. They're basically like, you know, like PR statement. They talk about how this person was going to like change like the face of music and how they're going to like redefine the genre and not just some like ordinary like pop princess. And like, everything you're telling me is a lie. I mean, you're not going to change anything. No one changes everything. Okay, like occasionally someone like Michael Jackson comes along and changes the genre. I don't think you're going to do that. So
It's a bold claim.
It's a bold claim that I would say you probably won't be able to back up. So don't put yourself that high up, you know, and say, oh, I define a genre. I'm not like everyone else.
But did that make you want to listen to it?
No,
Did you still listen
it didn't
to it?
actually. It made me want to click off the site because I heard ego, I heard arrogance, and I heard someone who probably wasn't going to be able to back up what they were saying. Which leads me to say, be honest. Do not tell me about what you're planning on doing or thinking of doing or wanting to. Tell me what you've done and what you are actually working on. I'd rather you be honest, and maybe I don't get a ton of stuff, but that I'll be impressed by what you've done so far.
I'm kind of curious, like, jumping off of that point, you know how, like, when you're applying for jobs and you write a cover letter, you want to make it interesting, right? You want to stand out. I'm curious from both of you guys, whether it's the cold, hard facts perspectives or the story perspective, what's the best hook? Like, the best way, your first sentence, in your experience, to grab the attention without coming off as too pretentious or too boring or... Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
The big hook, the ones I've seen. I feel like there was one band that pretty much dropped off. Like, we've been looking. What was it? We're looking to almost not change the genre. Just like someone put out, we want to make music that hasn't been put out there yet. In a way of I instantly got drafted onto that because it's you do want to make music that you haven't heard yet, that you always want. I mean, the product. You look at music as a product. You put a product out that's been you've been looking for that just no one's done before. And I was okay. That's the time I was like, okay, I'm with you. It wasn't